Morning, Matt.
Morning, Wayne.
What do we, what's the plan?
Well, we are going to try to reassemble the transmission and the magneto onto the Toad, and hopefully, maybe get close enough to put the alligator back on and see if we can drop this thing in. And...
All right. So first things first, we got to put the gas tank back in.
Yep, we're going to put the gas tank back in, and then we're going to try to get the transmission mounted up.
That should be
all kinds of fun stuff.
That should be it.
So we'll push the. Let me see. Let me just. No, spiders. It's okay.
So Matt's crawling under the car. And we're gonna try to get the gas tank back in. And you can do it on your own, but it's easier with two people.
Yep. And especially on this little Roadster where the dash obviously has been leaned on and pushed on over the years, and it's kind of curved itself in. You gotta kind of pull it back,
you kind of
manhandle it.
Pull it back a little bit to slip the gas tank lip up under it. So we'll see you back here in a minute.
Oh, not enough room between that and my face. Brad said, Phil, I say we push him up in there first. Watch your fingers. There we go. And it's got to kind of go, this bottom end, it's got to angle up first, like that. Yep. So we get them lined up. I think you got to come towards me a little bit. Wiggle it. Just a little bit. I can't jam them. Right up in there. Ah, there we go. Perfect, like a glove.
Okay.
Woo! Yeah, that was easy, like everything else.
All right, that was totally easy. Just ram it up in there, push it in there like a glove. Watch your fingers. So next, we're gonna take these little hook arms.
Yeah,
and,
this is where the fun begins, Wayne.
Yeah, this is equally as fun.
Yep. So there's a little channel that these hook into. Well, actually, it's a lip that comes out, a little hole in it, and this has to go in that. Unfortunately, you can't see them, nor can you feel them. So, you know,
yep.
Just take a stab at it. Let's see what
and then the other end has to come out through here or there while you're pushing the gas tank up. It's super fun.
It bolts. You'll see. It's going to be
great.
Good fun. Yeah, and I'm going to reach up and find the first hole.
Got it.
Of course, it's right there. I'm gonna.
That's pretty good, huh? Or pretty good guess.
Yeah, let's almost see it. My golly, I got it on the first try. Well, let's see how this works. Oh, that was too easy. The next one's going to suck. That one's yours. Yep, there it is right there.
That's
awesome.
That's
a good time. Yep. Get fuzz on it.
Oh.
Now it's going to work. Got it?
Yep.
Look at you go, buddy.
I don't know where I'm going now.
You're going in that. Yep, right straight up. You got to kind of bend it up. Takes a little bit of moxie.
Yeah.
That was awful. But we got it.
You got to come in this side and be like, done!
And easy peasy.
So you can see, popped right in there.
Piece of cake.
Piece of cake, quick and easy.
Yep. No contortioning of the body or pulling of muscles.
What are we doing next?
Now we're moving on to this bad boy. We'll put our coil on, and then our magneto. It's not called a coil. What is that called?
The
That thingy.
transmission?
Got a name. No, that goes on first.
The magneto. Flywheel thing.
Flywheel, magneto flywheel thing that makes the Mr. Magneto. This
Nice
thing,
part.
we're putting that on. It's got a name. Don't judge me. Leave it in the comments. It's fine.
All right.
And Chuck's going to be the first one to comment.
Just spin it around, the whole thing.
Yep, I'm going to let her drop on without hitting her fan. Oh, her first. Nope. You're much heavier. Now that you got get in. So there we go. All right. Magneto, oil line, then trans.
So we're gonna need some bolts.
Yep, we need the bolts. This is gonna sit here. So there's 4 holes, 1, 2, 3, 4, that made up on the block, the 4 holes. Make sure that your charging point is gonna sit to the top. Your little.
Yeah, it should only be able to line up one way, but
Right.
you never know.
These are mag bolts. Wayne and his awesome labeling. It's kept us organized. All right. I don't know if you can see from that camera angle, but 1, 2, 3, 4 bolts, 2 and 1, and you'll see in between the 2, there's the end of the cam that pokes through, and then you've got a hole. That's your oil line, and it is going to bolt into this bolt.
We got the mag here.
Yep. We've got our 4 bolts. This one here, this is the other end of the cam where it goes in from the other side. So you see the camshaft in there, that's it.
Kind of like Matt was saying, make sure your top point
Yep.
is top.
Your charge point, because that's what's going to make everything do its thing, which we'll show later. It's fine. This hole here is where, if you saw in the prior videos, the oil line goes through. Also travels through a channel inside there. Nope, I have lied to you. It is that bolt. Of course I knew that.
So we're just pre-fitting.
Yep.
That's why you should always pre-fit, but the oil line should travel all the way to the bottom.
All the way. We got a little bit of a bend, but let me take this bolt out.
I'm gonna line up down there.
There we go.
And then we will have to mechanics wire.
Yes.
Bolt, 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 bolt.
Yep. So it's got the pickup here. So if you're going up hills, it helps throw oil to the front of the motor. It helps distribute it when you're flat. It doesn't do a real good job when you're going up a hill, which is why we have an external lead on it that brings it back down, or the opposite way, that brings it from here all the way up to the front of the motor. Because as you are going up a hill like that, oil level is going to drop. You want it to recycle. So we'll show you when we get to that point.
Yep, no oil pump, it's just by lap. But every time, like, we're looking for bolts, I have this minor panic of, like, where are they? And I'm like, oh.
You have a great system, Wayne. Don't panic. It's fine.
Every time. I'm just like, what is
Yep, we're going to tighten this. Out of the 4 bolts, it's the one that sits right above the cam that I was telling you where the oil line bolts into, that it actually doesn't. I'm going to tighten that one down first. And we'll tighten the other ones down. Remember, no torque specs. It was before torque specs, so one man's arm. This piece does not move, so we're not worried about having to, cross torque, anything like that. Just make sure that it's down and it's tight. It does have moving components around it, but it itself is not going to move. So we'll get these snug. See, when you move this over into place, you can't get to it. So unless you want to get a wrench or something in there, this just makes it easier.
Yep.
Which I forgot. Try this big one. Hold it down. Are we in?
Yeah. One.
Yep. Perfect. Good job. So we got this on our oil tube, as you can see. Like I said, there isn't a channel that runs to this cam gear up front. Excuse all the cat hair. We have a cat. Anyway, so this tube goes through and helps aid in doing that. Like we were talking about, if you're going uphill, you're going downhill, something like that, the oil's not going to lap in here so much towards the front of the motor. We have an accessory after that that goes on that is going to help in that. But this helps this gear get oil all by lap. And yeah, that's that. It's pretty cool.
Just a nice, cool little think around, because there was no oil pumps or anything like that. So it's a.
We are going to clean in here before we fill it with oil and run it. So don't think that we're those kind of guys. It's just going to.
Yep. We got tons of brake cleaner.
Tons of stuff. Yeah, we'll clean her up.
So we got the mechanics wire.
Yep. So what I normally do to make sure you have enough, because we're going to double it up, we're going to roll it through to here, and we're going to twist it around this back side, and then we're going to bring it through again and twist it. And as we do that, like I said, as we have the loop that's here and we twist, in order to make sure you have enough so you can cut it, what I normally do, you're going to have some excess, it's fine, you just don't want to be short. As I go from where we're at around where that bend is, so little bit more than half, so like 3/4 the distance, because we're going to shrink it as we're tighten it up. So as long as you're there, you give yourself a rough guesstimation, and then give her a snip. Right about there, perfect, to the millimeter.
To the millimeter. Precise measurements only here,
Precise.
friends. All right, Matt, talk me through your process.
All right, so we're going to twist this wire here, push it to the outside. So I'm going to twist it like this. We're going to feed it through one side. We're going to feed it through. We're going to twist the other side. That prevents those two bolts from spinning around. We're going to do the same thing on that side. Easy peasy. I'm going to look for some vice grips. All right, now that we've got this bolted on and we've got our oil feed tube in, we've got everything mechanics wired. We're going to pick this transmission up, and there's 2 dowels on the top that line up with 2 holes. You can see the holes. There's 3, 3, and 3. We'll show you a different shot. And the 2 dowels go in the middle, and the 2 bolts go on these outsides here.
Yep, for a total of 4 bolts.
6, 3 and 3. 3 on the top. Or 4 bolts, 6 holes. Yes.
4 bolts, 2 dowels, 6 holes.
Right. Don't question me. Listen to me. But anyway, that's how that goes down. So, today I learned you don't want to grab it here, because I guarantee you your fingers will not fit in between there. They may, if you can pull it off, fantastic. Remember, there's not a whole lot of room. That's what builds that charge. So I'm going to try to grab it under here. And this thing weighs, what, 85 pounds?
It's
a lot. It's heavy.
Quite heavy.
So
I'm going to, yeah.
Yeah. OSHA, please sign off if they're watching. And I'll try not to throw my back out. All right. The 2 little dowel rods that we're talking about are right here. These are your 2 bolt holes. And then, so if you look at this piece here where it mates, that's how you got to put it together. 2 little pins go in the middle, bolts go on the outside. That's how that should go. So, you'll be able to get it on the first take. Easy peasy.
Easy peasy.
No problem. Yeah, you'll see.
Everyone should try it at least once in their lives.
At least once. Yeah, so come on over and I'll let you do it now. I'm going to scoot this closer
Yep.
to the edge without dropping it on my feet, I promise.
Okay.
I'm going to take those 2 pins, I'm going to line my hands up like this
Okay.
so I can see what I'm doing. Nothing's going to fall off the bottom. We're all bolted.
Which way are we flipping it? Towards you or?
I'm going to do it just like this.
Okay.
And it's going to suck. All right. Up. And then over. Can't feel it. Let me see where we're at. Yep, that's the dowel. Keep going. Right there. Stop. Back. Right there. Right there. Watch your hand.
Yep. There we go.
There we go. See? First time.
First time. That actually was the first time. We didn't take it off. We did that about 5-6 times last time.
Yeah. You guys got this. Trust me. Great job, Wayne. I need a drink.
Me too. Right now, we're putting in our bolts there. One, we're going back and forth, just making sure they're even. So 2 in, and then that way it doesn't kind of tip either way, right, Matt?
Right, because when you're tightening it down, it's a flat surface like this. It does have dowel rods. If you tighten it down too much one way, you're going to get more of a gap on this side than the other. I know that matters, but it may not matter in the order that you tighten them down. I just didn't like how much it was tilting, so I wanted to make sure that our gap was even.
What do we got, Matt?
All right, so we've got this all bolted on. We're getting the mechanics wired down, and then we did realize as we were bolting it down, because we tightened it down all the way on either sides, and we took the towed motor apart. Us doing that, we realized that everybody else is doing this is going to have some parts that we did not have.
Potentially.
Right, potentially, yeah, which is what we noticed when we took it apart. There is magneto
Coil.
support
Shims. Magneto coil support shims.
That's right, and they go in between, obviously, where the coil and the magneto sits, where we were showing where the dowels were. They go.
Yep, they'll go. Yeah, exactly where the dowels were.
Right, and that keeps the distance, which is the distance, which is at point.
0.02 to 2.5, or what the shims are. Your distance, the gap you want between these is minimum of 0.025 up to 0.040. And we'll post that on the bottom.
Yeah, so that'll be fine. So we are at 0.025, so that's exactly where we need to be. What we did, since we didn't have the shims before, is we snugged them up They're not one man's arm tight. We tightened them up enough to where it's going to hold it even under vibration. We're going to mechanics wire them in, which you're supposed to anyway. So maybe whoever rebuilt it before or whatever, maybe they just didn't put the shims in it. We don't know. But we're going to try it. She's free. What we did find is when we were turning it the first time when we started tightening them down, it was actually hitting the coils. We could hear it.
Yep, ting, ting, ting.
So if you hear that and there's any resistance when you're turning it, stop and go get some shims or do like we did and make sure that your bolts can snug it up.
Yep, and we used a spacing tool.
Yep, we used our feeler, our gapper gauge, just to make sure that we were right where we need to be.
And we are good.
And we are, yeah, and we eyeballed it, you know, so we just kind of went around and eyeballed it, tightened them up. The proper way to do it, we got lucky. It'd be the only time during this build, I guarantee you. Is, you know, we went around, we tightened everything down where we thought, and we happened to be spot on. We do have one little plate at the end of one of our north and south poles. It has a little bend to it. It gets a little tight in the back, but we still have clearance, so I think we're going to be okay. It's not touching. So
yep.
That's where we're at.
So next we're going to turn it and then get the mechanics wire on.
Yep. Make sure they don't go anywhere.
All right, here's a good little trick for doing the mechanics wire. We went ahead and turned it on our engine stand, so we're not trying to do it upside down.
Yep. We did have to take the coil box off, and you got to be mindful of the fan, just because of the way.
Yep, it was a little in the way. Really couldn't rotate it the other direction. So.
And what is awesome, since these are, you know, once you get them to the desired tightness and depth that you need, you don't want to move them pretty much after that. So what I'm assuming Ford has done, because he was flipping genius back then, is there's two holes for your mechanics wire, so you have two different angles. So like this one where it is on the top, where we have it lined up, we want it, we don't want to move it. I'm not going to be able to get that mechanics wire through here. I mean, I probably could, but it's going to be a pain in the butt. So they drilled another hole on the other side.
Yep, we got options.
Yeah, you've got options, which is pretty awesome. So just don't worry about that when you're going in. Just tighten it down. You might be able to tweak a little bit here and there, if we'd have been a little bit more further. But the way it's drilled, you know, even if we were turned a little bit more this way, I think we'd still be right coming through that hole. So it's pretty genius. I like it.
Yep, while we're here, we got Colton visiting, working on his
Yeah.
four-wheeler. You can check him out. What's your
YouTube page.
your YouTube?
CJ Snuffy.
CJ Snuffy.
What do you do there?
Random four-wheeler and
He does some cool stuff. He's got some.
Yeah, he's got some cool stuff.
On that one, right?
This is his four-wheeler.
BMX four-wheelers, and apparently Hudson Hortons.
Oh yeah, and on his page you can see where we wandered out to the woods in our
Yep.
neighborhood and found a 53 or 55.
So-
Hudson Horton. We
yep.
can't tell. You guys go watch the video and tell us what
Yep.
you think it is.
All right, so we got the mechanics wire all set up with the help of Colton.
Yep. So we've got that in. We've got our gap where we need it to be. We're ready to go. What we're going to do next is we're going to flip the motor. We took the commutator in the box off just because it was a little bit of a pain. We left the bolts out. We're going to flip it. We're going to do our exhaust manifold and our intake. And then we're waiting on some little gasket maker.
Gasket maker, some little parts, but then after that, it's going to be the alligator,
Yep, and in the car she
hogshead, and
goes.
bands, and
Yep. So next week, or next weekend, is the plan for that, unless something comes up, which means probably by December 25th when we post this video and you guys finally see it. I'm just kidding.
let's hope for before that.
Yeah, hopefully before that we'll have it done. You'll see us riding around town. That'll be cool.